On average, adults need about 50 grams of protein a day to stay healthy. Women a little less, men a little more. So if you're not getting your daily dose, we've got a solution thanks to the folks at Nature's Outlet and Garden of Life. Here's Bruce.
Well, Garden of Life is a digestive health company, and I actually wanted to add, we're the #1 company in the industry right now. Just as of recently, we're the #1, we're the big dog in the industry, and we make a whole line of products that honestly sometimes end up changing people's lives, and that's why we're on such a growth pattern, is because we make one of the most concentrated green drinks on the market, made with cereal grass juices, not just milled grass. Right. We also make one of the best probiotics that's ever been put on a shelf, biggest number of strains, really high quality production values. And then we make protein, the best-selling protein. There's over 1,500 different proteins in our industry. Ours is the #1, and it's made out of sprouts. So it's a really clean process. Then we make multivitamins. Our multis are not grown; they're not made in a lab. They're grown in living cells. So we do things differently at Garden of Life.
And all natural, and I think that's what we want to drive home to folks. Well, we've talked with you. We've had you on this show here a few times now, talked about a couple of things. This time around, we're going to talk about protein. And you hear about protein and why you need it, and you need to have it, and you need to. Why do we need protein?
Right. Well, the word protein itself, protein, it comes from a Greek word, proteus. It means of primary importance. So the name itself kind of denotes just how important it is. They say there are 50,000 fluids and tissues in the body that are built from protein. So when we talk about hormones, well, hormones are proteins. When we talk about enzymes, enzymes are proteins. When we talk about the coatings on your DNA, that's protein. So almost everything, when you're going to repair, when you're going to heal from anything, you got to have protein. And in fact, we're learning that things like bone health, to have really healthy bones, it's really about how well your body interlays the protein into all the minerals. So even bone health has a lot to do with protein. But I would say the biggest uses are probably people who are working out, or people who are trying to lose weight, or people who are trying to regain health and want protein to help rebuild all their fluids and tissues in their body.
Okay, sounds good. So we learned why we need protein. Now educate us a little bit on some of the products that you have that help us get that protein in our system.
Right. So we make raw protein, and as I said, #1 out there right now, which is amazing. There's so many proteins on the market. The reason this has become #1 is that it's the best of both worlds. In the past 20 years, most people walked into the store and they bought whey protein, which is a great protein, but the thing about whey, it's always pasteurized. You can't make it raw. It's just not allowed to put on the shelf in a raw form. Okay. And with plant proteins, on the other hand, they're not pasteurized, but they're typically hard to digest. Okay. So you had to either run into something that was really digestible but not all that clean. It's been processed pretty harshly, like whey. Right. Or you look at plant proteins where they're super clean, they're not bleached or solvented, but they have all these enzyme inhibitors that make it hard to digest. And so with ours, the magic of raw protein here is the sprouting. When you sprout something, you break down all those enzyme inhibitors, and so your body just gets the protein. I'll tell you, I had a guy last week in Texas told me it's the only protein that he can have in his gut while he's swimming. He's a professional swimmer, and he finds it doesn't give him that lead brick feeling. Yeah. And often, if you've been to the guy's locker room in the gym, it smells pretty bad down there, and often I think that's because they're digesting really harshly processed, weird proteins that have been full of sugars and things like that. So we make the cleanest protein, one of the most digestible, with no solvents or bleaching or anything like that.
Okay, and then just to be clear, these are powders, flavored powders. I see vanilla. What is this? Unflavored. So you have unflavored versions as well.
Neutral. You can mix it with anything you want. We do have a chocolate and we do have a vanilla. We don't use any sugar. We use a special form of stevia. Most stevia, I think, tastes kind of weird. That's often because they're grinding up all the sticks and stems with it, so it gives it a lot of off notes in your mouth. Ours is a water extract, so it's a really clean type of extraction. You don't get all those bitter aftertastes. So it's a really clean type of stevia. People love the flavor.
And very quickly, I was noticing that it also has, we've done segments on probiotics. It's got probiotics, vegan, gluten-free, and dairy-free. I mean, that's pretty healthy and pretty natural.
Yeah, anybody can use this, whether they're bodybuilders or young people. I mean, really, it's just a suitable protein for anybody to take, and it's super clean, and boy, does it work. We have guys who are power lifters or professional bodybuilders or NFL athletes who use our raw protein. It has really taken the industry by storm.
Okay, Nature's Outlets throughout the region, Roanoke, Salem, and Martinsville. You can give them a call in Roanoke. They'll even ship it to you if you order something. So naturesoutlet.net is the website. Check them out, and they're very helpful. They have lots of great information.